The state of Myanmar is facing condemnation from Muslims over its failure to stop violence against the country's persecuted Rohingya religious minority. Pakistan, Afghanistan, Russia and other countries with a large Muslim population are among those protesting the years-long religious oppression in Myanmar. But the country's government claims it's only trying to establish peace in the country by fighting terrorists. Now, the reputation of the country's de facto leader, Aung San Suu Kyi, is suffering because of the alleged genocide of the Rohingya minority. She previously earned global respect for promoting democracy in the country and even won the Nobel Peace Prize for her non-violent advocacy for that of human rights. But with the situation concerning Myanmar's Rohingya Muslim minority escalating, activists are now calling for Aung San Suu Kyi to be stripped of her Nobel Prize. Here's a look at how the prestigious award can sometimes be motivated politically.
The Nobel Peace Prize is supposed to honor those who have done the most for fraternity between nations, the abolition of standing armies and the promotion of peace. That's how Alfred Nobel envisioned it more than a century ago. But the record of some prize winners and nominees has sometimes been dubious. In 2009, the newly elected US President Barack Obama won the award. Despite his campaign promises, the American military were actually at war for every year of his 8-year term. Airstrikes or raids were held in 7 countries. And in 2016 alone, over 26,000 bombs were dropped by the US Air Force. Years later, a former Nobel Prize secretary even admitted to his frustration over Obama's award.
The prize did not have the positive effect for Obama that we might have hoped, especially in the US.
Another contentious choice is the European Union. The bloc was rewarded with a Nobel Prize in 2012 for, quote, 6 decades of contributions to the advancement of peace and reconciliation, democracy and human rights in Europe. The same year, Europe saw a spike in terror attacks. 219 happened that year in EU member states. Also in 2012, some European countries were engulfed in mass protests against austerity measures the bloc had imposed. The same year, the Syrian rescue group, the White Helmets, was nominated for the award. That's despite its members being alongside al-Nusra terrorists and even at execution sites. The White Helmet's reputation was also in question after it staged a fake rescue video, taking part in a so-called mannequin challenge.
Well, I think any time you have a prize around peace, and that is going to be political. Nobel Peace Prize has, historically sometimes been a political tool. The committee that controls the Nobel Peace Prize nominations and how they select sometimes do it because they are hopeful or they're trying to push an agenda. So with Obama, for example, it was only about 10 months into his presidency when they gave him the Nobel Peace Prize. He hasn't had a chance to even set up his desk at that point. If you look at some of the people that he chose, one of the ones that we mentioned today, Aung San Suu Kyi, the reason why she's deserved the prize is she worked for years and years in a nonviolent way to change that country. I don't think her actions today are that of a Nobel Peace Prize winner, but I certainly don't think that you should take the prize away.